Hello, everybody. This is me, Kate. As you can tell, my voice sounds different today. I wanted to try a little experiment, with this particular trans blog, which is to have an actual webcam going on. You can see this is me, but, with the, voice changer on. Some of you who've been watching for a while may recognize this voice, actually, as the one that I used back when I was using an avatar, like right after my trans egg cracked. Not the Kara one, but the one that I actually was like, hey, this is as close as I can get to looking like me, kind of that avatar. So, and the reason I'm doing this is, I don't know, I'm at a weird point in my transition right now where I am, I think appearance-wise, for the most part, I actually pass pretty well. Like, I'm not perfect, but I'm at a point where I think if I keep my mouth shut most of the time in public, I haven't got misgendered in public since like February, at least by like strangers, and a couple of months ago, people even stopped calling me ma'am or dear or honey, which was nice when it happened, and now that it's not happening, I get a little panicked about why. Though my therapist brought up the point that maybe they're not calling me honey anymore because I pass even better. And so, like, people might have been doing it because they recognized that I was trying to pass. And so they wanted to, like, give me that extra bit of gender confirmation, because some people are really cool like that. But now I pass well enough that they just don't. So, which might be the case. That would be cool if that was why that stopped. But I feel like the voice I've been using, is not... I haven't had still official voice training. And I know my voice will never actually sound like this. Well, I mean, it literally won't, because this isn't my voice, but like quite this feminine. I know saying your voice sounds feminine is like, there's a huge range going on there. What's feminine, what's like the umbrella of what fits in that category is rather broad. So I'm not like, I'm obviously never going to sound like this kind of girly, you know. I'll probably, in the end, even after all my voice training, I'll be much closer to, like, B. Arthur. Right. I'm hoping to at least get to the level of Kate Mulgrew, you know. Yeah, good Captain Janeway rasp might be the way that I end up. But I don't feel like I'm quite there quite yet, especially since I haven't had any training, because I'm still on a wait list that I've been on since November, and I have emailed them. I got one response back in March, so I was like, hey, are you still interested? And I'm like, yes, please send me more information. And now it's July, and I haven't heard a thing. But that's the voice training that my insurance will pay for. Maybe there's some others out there that I could do. Anyway, but I kind of, for at least a moment, wanted to see if this face with a really feminine voice made sense to my brain. And maybe this is more just therapeutic for me than it is necessarily something that y'all should get used to. I'm pretty sure this is going to be a one-off thing. But it's nice to be able to at least virtually be in a place where you're not quite there physically yet. I mean, early on in my transition, I had to do the whole avatar thing, and like, you know, was it like 2 days after my trans egg cracked when I did my first vlog that was like almost an hour long, just reading the gender dysphoria Bible, and it was so nice to be able to exist in that space, even though I wasn't quite like physically there yet. It was, it's like crack. I've never done crack, so I actually that may be a bad analogy, but it was something that was desperately needed and really nice. And recently, like my levels of dysphoria have gone up and down and up and down, like, and I think physically, like looks wise, sometimes I look in the mirror and I'm like, damn girl, you're looking pretty good. Like even just looking at myself in the webcam right now, and if I'm not right where I want to be, I'm pretty close. Like, this is actually my natural hair even. Not the bangs, but the back of it, and it's hard to see. I'm still a little thin on top, but I think the type of thinning that it is, like women in their 40s, it's not rare for some of them to have the same type of thinning that my hair is. And even the bangs in the front, like aren't super clockable. But I still like how this looks, so I'm still wearing the bangs. I think more the broader point is the problem with passing is it's a lot of little things that you have to be aware of in order to make up the full package. Like, a voice that doesn't sound quite right may not clock you as trans, or hair that's too thin, or broad shoulders, or big beefy hands, or like the color scheme that you wear, the fact that you wear jeans instead of something more feminine, like all these are little things that individually probably like women do and it's fine, but you put them all together, people see the square jaw and the thinning hair and they hear the voice that isn't quite feminine, and then they start to look at you and they're like, oh, that's a trans person. And here's the thing. Being outed as a trans person in public, I don't think I need to explain why that's a scary thing in today's society, especially since I live in Utah. Not the reddest of states, but still pretty red. And so there's the safety aspect of it there. There's also just personally, for me, I really want to be able to pass. Like, that's personally important to me, and that's not true of all trans people. In fact, there are many that would rather, like, be out and proud and have everyone know, like the trans people that have, like, full-on beards but still wear dresses, and they love it, and they're living their best lives, and I love them for it, and that's great. But that's not the kind of person I am, or the image that I would like to put forth. I really do want to just be like, I'm a woman first and a trans woman or a trans person second, and maybe even have trans person like even farther down on that list. There's a lot of things that I would rather be known as. A lot of aspects of my personality that are more important to my identity than being trans. I've been talking about being trans a lot recently because it's a new thing, but it's not all of who I am. And that kind of brings me to my other topic I want to talk about. Sorry, just looking at the time I've been recording. The other topic I want to talk about, which is, I don't know where I fit anymore. And this came to a head today, because, now I might get a little emotional apparently, so just bear with me. I don't even know if that'll come across very well with its voice changer on. I might just be like bawling and my voice will be very matter of fact. I don't know how it's gonna work. But the past couple months, I've been going to a couple of like trans person meetups, and there was a group that I was getting along pretty well with. The issue was that they were way younger than me. Like, even the oldest one of them was like 12, 13 years younger, and most of them were like almost half my age. And two, they were like nerdy, like gamers, but their games that they were gamers were like Magic the Gathering or like Warhammer 40K, and I'm like, those, which is fine, but those are things that I'm not really into. And so the result was I didn't really have a lot to talk about with them. And but I still went with them to a couple of different meetups. There was some at this other trans woman's house where she would just host like a, hey, come and hang out night. But she was also one of those people that were like really into like horoscopes and tarot readings, and like when you came in the house, you'd have to like put your phone away because it wasn't a space where a phone would be welcome. Which is also fine. That's a fine way to live, but I always ended up kind of sitting in the corner, being kind of awkward, and they were very open. Everybody there was always very open and loving in a way. And it was nice to exist with a lot of people with whom I shared a similar gender identity. But at the same time, that was basically all we had in common. And I went several times trying to hope that, you know, maybe I just need to get to know them, get used to this kind of thing, and every time it just felt awkward. And so I was, I should have been there right now. Like, as I'm recording this, it was one of these meetups, and I haven't been in a couple weeks because I had tech for a show, and now that I finally had a Wednesday open, I could finally go to one again. So it's been like 3 weeks since I've been to one. But I was in the car, and I got all the way to the freeway entrance to get on the freeway, and I was like, I can't do this again. You know, they're great people, but I need to find my tribe. My actual, like, the people with whom I can be myself totally and 100%. And the thing is, like different friend groups obviously fulfill different needs. I've got, like, my Discord group of, like, college friends that I have a lot of fun with, but at the same time, they, for the most part, treat me like I haven't transitioned. Like, I'm just another one of the guys, and that makes me feel bad because, obviously, being a woman is a huge part of who I am, and they haven't been treating me like that. Though that has gotten better, but we'll circle back to that. And then there are the people that I've become better friends with since my transition. Maybe some of you watching have been more in that category, where before my transition, I was not even on your radar, and then post-transition, you're like, oh, I love to support this trans woman, and it's great, and I thank you for your support, and your friendships have also been great, but, like, if I post something or say something that's not related to either being trans or LGBTQ issues or any of that, if I'm like, hey, here's a cool video game remix I love, like, and you're not interested in that. And there's nothing wrong with that. I'm not saying, like, oh, why are you interested in everything I am? People are people. You're going to like what you're going to like. But it does mean that I still, like, I can't, there isn't a place where I feel like I can, where all of me is accepted and celebrated. Really, where I found my people. And that's, you know, the older you get and the fewer opportunities that you have to just meet new people that are your age, that are in similar situations, let alone people that you really click with. It's just, it gets so difficult. And I don't know how to find those people. I don't know. like, I don't know where the trans people are that are my age that might be in the same thing as I am. I can't find them. Whenever I try to find trans people, it's always either people 20 years younger or, in one occasion, like 30 years older. When I try to find people that are more into, like, the nerdy things that I'm into, they're usually, like, a bunch of dudes, like I used to identify as. And then women my age, most of them are, like, have children and just want to talk dirt about their ex-husbands or something, which is fine. Like, I'll gossip with the girls. I will do it. But I can't be like, oh, I can relate because my ex-husband did this, because for obvious reasons. And so it's I think that's hitting me a lot recently, is just like, I want to find people who accept me for who I am, like my college Discord group where we can just hang out and have fun, but at the same time also acknowledge this part of me that is my feminine part, that I'm not just a dude with clip-on bangs, but I'm actually a woman who that's part of me as well. And they have gotten a little better, like my good friend Jonathan doesn't tiptoe around the issue anymore. He always makes dumb jokes about people, and he now starts making dumb jokes about, like, we were playing a dumb, like, online golf game the other day where it's like everyone hits the balls at the same time and they go all over the place, and it's wacky and it's really fun. It was like $2 on Steam. And at one point he was like, "Oh, you wouldn't hit a girl, would you?" when he was talking about me, and it was like, it was a really stupid joke, but for some reason it hit, like, no pun intended. It hit kind of hard that he was to a point where he didn't feel like he needed to avoid this elephant in the room that was my gender identity, where it could just be a part of me. And that was a really nice moment where for one brief shining second, I felt like all of me was seen and recognized and celebrated. And I guess I did kind of have a similar moment at one of these meetups, like a month and a half ago, when someone was, like, playing the guitar in the corner, and they started playing, like, music from Chrono Cross. And I was like, "Hey, that's from Chrono Cross." And she was like, "Oh my gosh, you know Chrono Cross?" And we, like, talked about Chrono Cross for, like, 10 minutes, and it was, like, the one, like, moment in all these meetups where I was like, oh, I finally was able to, like, feel like not just my gender identity, but the rest of me was also being celebrated. And that was, like... And that didn't end up going anywhere, because that person only came back once more, and then I haven't seen her again. But, like... And anyway, but those kind of interactions, I know they're out there. I know there are people that I can connect with that see me for who I am, not just for this, but also not just for this, that accept everything that I am. And it's so hard. It also doesn't help I'm looking for, I'm trying to, like, find potential roommates because I don't want to live at home forever. And financial situations, but that's a whole nother story. But that's kind of where I'm at. And when it comes to the voice stuff, I just want to be able to go out in public and not panic every time that a store clerk is like, "Hey, did you find everything okay?" And I have to be like, "Oh no, I've got to lift up my larynx and I've got to close up my resonance just so that they're not going to be like, give me a weird look when I respond with, 'No, I'm fine, thank you.'" So anyway, I don't know if I'll ever do this experiment again with this voice, but I thought it would be kind of a fun thing to do while I'm talking about these current issues. So if you think that maybe I could fit into your tribe, not just because I'm trans or LGBTQ, but because there are other parts of me that also would like to spend some time with you, let me know. Maybe we can hang out, do a lunch or something. This invitation is for people who already know me. If you're a random internet stranger, yeah, more hesitant. I'll just put it that way. But anyway, thanks for watching, everybody. I'll catch you in the next one, hopefully with my actual voice. And hopefully, after some actual voice training. So, thanks. See ya.